welcome to Couple of Joe's podcast, where today we're drinking drip coffee to celebrate our start of our careers. This episode of Couple of Joe's podcast is brought to you by memeoutpost.org. Check out memeoutpost.org for all the best info on cybersecurity and memes. So Grant, how's it going, man?
I'd say it's going pretty well. Can't complain with nice weather we've been having across the Midwest this week. Got some good coffee right here, or do I? It's all pretty good right now.
I don't know, man. I got to tell you, though, this music that we have for the background, it slaps. And when you throw on the headphones, the bass comes in really, really good.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, same here. I got some beats on right now, so they have that low end frequency, and it just hits and it kicks in like, woo.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. All right, so how's it going? You're in a different part of the U.S. now, man. How's it going over there in Wisconsin?
Lots of cheese curds, lots of cheese. Nah, for real though, like I'm really enjoying it out here. But man, I'm telling you, it's sort of like how in Ohio everyone's talking about Buckeyes all the time. You got your peanut butter Buckeyes, your football Buckeyes. Out here, I swear to you, around my apartment, there are probably 3 different cheese shops, 4 different ice cream places, and a few popcorn stands. All in like 2 city blocks of me. They got cheese everywhere. They love their cows out here. But I'm really enjoying it. Weather's actually been better than Ohio somehow, even though we're farther north, and I'll take it.
What do you mean, like hotter, or
it's
just
been,
like a breeze come off that lake?
No, it's not really even hotter. It's just been more consistently clear, more consistently sunny. And it's kind of like Florida in a way up in Wisconsin from what I've found so far, which is in Ohio, you get a lot of times this overcast that sort of sticks. And up here, when you get some storms, you get some rain, it's sort of like a band, like in Florida. It just goes through, and then a few minutes later, it's just back to being a beautiful day outside. And surprisingly, the lakes aren't too big of a factor. I was thinking that they might be, but that's just if you're on the east side. So like if you were on the east side of Lake Michigan in the state of Michigan, you might get a lot of effects from the lake, like lake effect snow or lake effect rain. But out here, it's pretty dry and pretty nice.
Dang, yeah, that's awesome. Have you been able to check out like the countryside up there at all?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good as well. I was worried it would be your stereotypical flatlands and all that, and sure, in Illinois when you get past Chicago it's kind of like that, but once you get into southern Wisconsin and Minnesota, you start to get these rolling hills, and there's something pretty beautiful about that. A lot of forested area too, just north of where I'm at.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because when I drove there in May, I really liked that area where it had like these real soft soil, and they would drop off, and there'd be like these creek beds that run through the hills and whatnot, and they'd cut right through. Yeah, that was nice.
Pleasant surprise for sure. I was just coming in with sort of a stereotypical view because I hadn't been to Wisconsin or Minnesota or even Iowa, anywhere like that before, so I didn't know quite what to expect, and everyone always talks about the Midwest and the flat grained lands, and not really what I found here, and I'm really impressed by it.
Yeah, that's good, man. Have you had that spotted cow yet?
Yes, I had spotted cow, and wow, it is good.
Yeah.
I love wheat beers. Wheat beers are my favorite types, and it's nice. It's really nice. It's got this smoothness to it. It also has a little bit of a hit on top, but it's not a hoppy hit. So I can't stand hops in my drinks. And yeah. I'm like not an IPA person, nothing like that. So the fact that there's a little bit of a bite, but it's not from the hops, I really appreciate that, and I'm really, really liking it. I've had it a little bit too much.
Hey man, it's not a little bit too much when you have a new beer, right?
No, and I mean, I am in Wisconsin. USA Today 2019 called it the drunkenest state in the union. 7 of the top 10 cities for most drunkenness are in Wisconsin.
They're also nice up there too. They're a bunch of happy drunks.
Exactly. It's been a pleasant surprise too.
Yeah, they take pride in their cheese, their beer, and they got some pretty prolific serial killers up there too.
Oh, do tell. I am unfamiliar with that.
Ed Gein, who have you ever seen Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah. That's the one from the 80s with Hannibal Lecter is one of the characters, right?
Yeah, so both Hannibal Lecter and puts lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again, that guy.
Oh, Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. Those guys are both inspired by Ed Gein. Ed Gein, like Mother. Also, what? It's the one, Bates Motel. It has Bates Motel. Norman Bates is in it. He's like obsessed with his mom. He dresses up as his mom, and then he kills people in the motel. He's also inspired by Ed Gein.
Is that kind of like the Friday the 13th guy who has that mother complex?
Yeah, a lot of them have mother complexes because that's like a big serial killer thing. I listen to too many true crime podcasts, so they talk about this. But damn, that's gonna bug the hell out of me, man. Psycho. Yeah, okay. Psycho's based off of that. Like what he did is he, before he started serial killing, he would go and he'd be a grave robber, and he went and he cut off nipples off of corpses and he fashioned them into belts, dude, and he made like lampshades out of skin. Like the dude was just fucked up. And that's what happens in Wisconsin, you know? He's still a super friendly guy too, so.
Well, of course, he's a Wisconsinite, so has to be friendly with all that.
Yeah, exactly. I think they got maybe some buried aggression underneath that
maybe. Huh? They got some strange sayings up here too, man. Like, I was trying to find my parking garage. You know, where I'm from, where you're from, we refer to them as parking garages. And up here, they're called parking ramps. So someone told me, hey, you got to find this big parking ramp a street over. So I was driving around like an idiot looking for this giant ramp, not the garage itself. And eventually I asked someone else, they're like, oh yeah, parking ramp is a garage, as you call it down there. It's like, okay, I'll take that. And then at work, people don't go to the water fountain, they go to bubblers. That's exciting.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Yep.
When they say when they're going to the bathroom, they call it the toilet. Are they British?
Actually, yes, they are. You're right.
They say that?
Yeah, they do.
Oh my God. They say mucky mucks. Have you heard anyone call another person a mucky muck yet?
I have not heard that. I've heard you talk about that from Green Bay.
Yeah, dude.
What does that mean again? Like, can you describe that?
Well, it's just their way of saying the people that they don't get along with. Because we were up in Green Bay for a Miami Dolphins Green Bay Packers game, and the guy goes and he's talking about Minnesota Vikings fans. He goes, oh, they're just a bunch of mucky mucks, you know, you don't want to deal with them. Yeah, so I started saying that there for a while, and then I forgot all about it until someone said it again. I was like, oh, how the hell do you know about that? Like, you told me. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, okay. I'm telling you, that speaking of Green Bay real quick, I want to get this shirt that I've seen this guy wearing around the office, and it's it's really inflammatory, but it's Brett Favre, a Minnesota Vikings legend.
Oh man, I bet everyone in that office hates him because
yeah,
the Packers, that's a religion up there, man.
Yes, it is. Cheesehead everywhere.
Yeah, the whole economy in Green Bay is based off the football team. That's one of the largest employers, I believe. Is just so much of it circled around the NFL team. It's the smallest city with an NFL team, I believe.
It is, yeah. And for anybody that's sort of listening and doesn't really know why that's so inflammatory, a little bit of background is Brett Favre was a Packers legend, would be a better statement. Brought them to a Super Bowl or two, I forget how many, but really, really great player, all-time great, Hall of Fame type quarterback. And at the end of his career, he ended up leaving Green Bay because they were moving on to Aaron Rodgers, you know, young, fresh. And he decided he wasn't done playing football yet. So what he did was he went to the Minnesota Vikings, who are in-division rivals of the Packers. And the Packers hate them probably just as much as they hate the Bears. And he played a season or two in Minnesota and actually ended up beating the Packers, his old team. And people couldn't forgive him for that. So someone to wear a shirt that says he's a Vikings legend when he only played one out of his, 18 years there. Pretty funny. That guy has nerves of steel.
Oh, yeah, man. He probably didn't care either. He's a Southern boy anyway. He's like, screw these guys up.
I know, right? I'm going to get money. I'm going to get paid.
Right, yeah. he did a stint with the Jets there for a little bit, too. I think he did a year with the
Yeah, he did a year with them. He sort of went around. He was like a rental guy at the end of his career. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, which sucks because, like, you could take a great career and you should just cut it off, man. So I think that's what Tom Brady's going to end up doing, but with Brett Favre, it's like, would he be considered more of a legend if he just stopped?
Yeah. See, that's an interesting topic. I don't know. It's like, you see that a lot of time in basketball as well. Players will just play for a team, win championships, and then move around team by team, year by year. Like, even Shaquille O'Neal, like, people forget that he played for, like, 8 teams in the NBA. I don't know. Someone can fact check me on that. But he played for a lot of teams that were not the Lakers.
Yeah, but he'll always be remembered for that Laker legacy because at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. But it stays fresh in your minds there. I mean, people are already forgotten for the most part that Brett Favre played for the Jets or for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Except Green Bay.
Except for people here in Green Bay. And the guy that's in my office. But they make that what you will.
Yeah. Yeah, man, but keeping on kind of the topic of sports, what about what's going on with the NBA?
The NBA is exploding, is a word I would use. It's sort of blown up. The NBA that we're going to have this next season is probably going to be nothing like the ones in the last few seasons. I, for one, am excited for it. There's just...
Yeah, it's kind of... Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I'm excited for it because running into this offseason, there was going to be, I believe the number was 40% of the NBA as agents, free agents. And you saw a lot of movement based off that. I mean, you're looking at Paul George and Kawhi Leonard going to the Clippers, all of a sudden making them the best team in LA, even though LeBron got Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins. Then you have New Orleans, who got Zion Williamson. You got Brooklyn, who has KD and Kyrie Irving now, and DeAndre Jordan. Miami's in the mix for Chris Paul. They just got Jimmy Butler. Houston got Russell Westbrook from the Thunder. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Unbelievable.
Well, it's kind of what it needed, though, because there for a while it was just the super teams, right?
Yes.
Now all the talent's being shifted, it's being shaken up. We'll actually see some release of that stagnation. Is that a word? The stagnant nature of the NBA and honestly professional sports in general as of recently. But
it's like if you look at the league now, you can make arguments for stars being on teams, but there are no teams that have more than two superstars like you had on the Warriors last year or the years before, or like you had with Miami and the Big Three there. I mean, there could be arguments, of course, like, oh, this player is underrated or whatnot. But, I mean, just as if you asked a casual fan or even someone who's not too familiar with basketball and listed off the names and where they're at, and I don't think anyone would say that there are more than two superstars on a team now, which is good because, like you're saying, it's diluting the pool, getting the stagnation down. I think we'll get some fresh faces winning things next year. And then ultimately, at the end of that, you have the New York Knicks losing, which makes me happy.
I'm wearing a Knicks hat right now, actually.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
They didn't get KD like they thought they would. They didn't get Kyrie like they thought they would. They didn't get Zion like they thought they would because New Orleans swiped the first pick in the draft lottery when they thought they had it locked in. That was something. That was funny.
My God. But, I don't really watch too much of the NBA. I don't follow it. But from my perspective, what's going on with LeBron James, man?
I think that...
I feel like he tanked that team. I feel like the Lakers, his ego's getting in the way of him being a good ball player now. I don't know.
It's an interesting thing because if you look at LeBron James in the last season with the Lakers, his stats were great. His stats were wonderful. It was sort of for the first time in his career, I feel like, it was the lack of effort that he showed sometimes. Like, there were compilations people were making of him just not moving on defense or not looking like he cared. But I think part of me feels like he wasn't really concerned about last year and he didn't care too much because he was really looking forward to this free agency and he knew that he was going to get somebody. Obviously, they talk about, tampering in the league, trade tampering. But he knew that Anthony Davis was going to be a Laker. I mean, he had to. The way that they sort of talked about it before they'd meet up and whatnot during games. So I feel like his heart wasn't really in last season, which I feel like is also not the best for his persona because he wasn't giving it his all. But I do kind of understand if the Lakers go on and become a dominant force these next few years, that he had the long game in mind. So I think time will tell. And fair or not fair, I feel like a lot of this season's perception of LeBron James and his first season in LA will be eventually based off of how he does now that he has everyone he really wanted.
Right. Okay, so it sounds like, from what you're telling me, he's taking more like a GM role. He's playing the general instead of the player, a player general.
That's sort of the vibe that I got from it. Because, if you look at online message forums and just, the news, like sports news, Lakers fans were not happy last season. And now all of a sudden, if you looked on the news right now, Lakers fans are ecstatic because they got Anthony Davis, they got Cousins, they got a good supporting team around LeBron, who had great stats last year, and he's not injured anymore. And they got a new coach who's been in the league. I wouldn't say that he's done well, but he hasn't done terribly. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. Like I said, I feel like we're too in the middle of it right now to judge, but time will ultimately tell whether that's fair or not, what LeBron's legacy will be at the Lakers.
Yeah, that'd piss a lot of people off here if he was remembered for the legacy for the Lakers.
Yeah, well, before the Clippers got their two superstars, it looked like the Lakers were going to go on like a three-peat or something in the West. But then all of a sudden, Klay Thompson decides to stay at Golden State, and they're pretty good now. And you have the Clippers just stealing Kawhi Leonard and Paul George back to back. They're the best team in the league right now, I think. So we'll see. I don't know. The Lakers have more of a climb than they thought they would when they got Davis. That's for sure. That's just my take on it, though.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not Lakers, but LA fans, they're blessed then, man. They got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Over and across the board.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Kings. I don't know if the Kings are very good, but
yeah, they used to be. They have the people that used to be talented still there, but they're at the end of their career. But they won championships earlier this decade. So yeah, if you look at the Staples Center, you have that. You have the two NBA teams. I mean, you have the Angels, the Dodgers. Then the Chargers are going to be good this year as well. They made it to the Super Bowl last year, so it's interesting. I
Rams,
feel like,
you mean?
Yeah, the Rams. My bad.
The Rams, yeah.
Super Bowl. The Chargers are not.
They're always pretty consistent. You only have Phil Rivers there. You're looking pretty good, but who knows how many years he has, man.
Yeah. I feel like the Chargers are, I don't know, they're just sort of there. They're kind of like what the Clippers used to be. They're good, but I don't know. If anyone's from LA, then they might be upset by this, but I don't care. I feel like just as a across the country observer, the Chargers are sort of just backseat. No one really cares. Then you got the Rams, who were the OG LA team, and now they're back and they made it to the Super Bowl. I think they're pretty good. Sad part is, though, I mean, LA is just wasting all this good talent on a city that doesn't really care about sports.
Yeah, they're all too busy. I don't know what they do over there in LA. Not my type of place, but I know their homeless population is terrible over there right now.
Yeah. Well, it's just cost of living is so expensive.
Well, I was listening to on a YouTube video. Dr. Drew is on it, and he lives out there. He's saying it's a mental health crisis. He says there's tons of houses available because there were 1 million illegal immigrants that got brought in by the city, and they got housing within a short period of time. So if there was a housing crisis, those people wouldn't have houses either. There's a big drug addiction problem out there, and there was something like there's 12 million rats in the city. And the last time LA hit 2 million rats, they had a outbreak of typhoid or some like disease that you heard that killed a lot of people back in the 1800s. Doesn't kill many people now, but it's back, and there's been like 1,000 people that have died this summer already from these diseases. And there's just like tarps covering bodies on the streets in LA if you're just driving down like their highways and whatnot.
That's crazy.
It's a pandemic, from what I hear.
Well, rats are at it again, man. Always bringing us disease.
Yeah, maybe a plague wouldn't be too bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Population's getting too big. I don't know, man. I might have to cut this out.
Oh boy, and we have inflammatory remarks.
Yeah, well, I can't go too long with talking without saying something stupid. But yeah, man. Summer.
Yes.
Good thing about summer is a lot of people bring their cars out of the garage and get them all shiny and looking good.
Yep. I just passed this morning 4 McLarens driving down the highway, brand new. A couple of them were orange. One of them was blue. Another one was red.
Ooh. Nice.
That was nice.
I took a picture. I don't know if I sent it to you on Snapchat, but it was a Porsche 911. That thing was looking Slick, dude.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
All blacked out with the red trim.
Yep, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah. Oh man, no, that was a good looking car. No, but I mean, everyone's getting new cars because I feel like in the summertime, everyone goes and spends. They come out of their cave, out of their hibernation from the winter, and they spend more money. And also, all the new graduates are getting new cars, so it's cool seeing all these new cars on the road. The other day, I saw a Jeep Gladiator, the first Jeep Gladiator I've ever seen driving on the road.
You saw one in person.
Yeah, man.
How was it? What did you think about that? Because I don't know, something just looks off with the dimensions to me.
Yeah, that's a big thing about it because it's like it's designed the same. The front end is the same as a Jeep Wrangler, right?
Yeah.
So when you're used to seeing that image, you're used to thinking of the body of the Wrangler, and then all of a sudden you look at this thing and there's a bed on it, there's a tailgate on it, there's all this other stuff, and it's already a boxy car in the beginning, and then you throw just a long rectangle on the end of it.
Yeah.
It makes it look odd to the eye, but I think they're badass. You look at them up on YouTube and their off-roading abilities, and also it's a pickup truck. I mean, it's the best of both worlds.
Well, is it like a four-door model that you saw that's out on the roads right now?
I think it was, yeah. I'm not exactly sure. I saw and I kind of geeked out, and I didn't really get a lot of the details on it. And plus, I was driving and probably shouldn't have been taking a picture of it anyway. But
but yeah, so that's sort of my issue that I had with it is I saw that there was a limited edition run of 2-door Jeep Gladiators, and at least online and not in person, I felt like that made sense. Like it looked proportioned correctly, and I feel like the 4-door is just a little too long. But I also haven't seen one in person, and you have. And if you say it's badass, I'll take your word for it.
yeah, this one was silver, so it was kind of underwhelming. I was hoping
that's
to
just
see
disappointing.
one.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyone gets a silver car, what are you doing?
Nah, it's got to be the Jeep red or the black. Everything's classier in the black color.
I just legitimately, I don't know. I just don't get why people get silver cars. Like, I don't know what the appeal is. Like, obviously, if you're getting a used car, beggars can't be choosers type of thing. But someone bought that new, and someone went to the dealership and spent good money on a brand new car and got probably the most boring color ever known to man.
Yeah, I feel like grandmas love the color silver. I feel like there are a lot of grandma cars that start out that way. Because I can't think, when I think silver cars, I'm thinking Honda Accords, Toyota Camrys. I'm thinking of all these cheap lower end models they're not car people that are buying these types of cars.
Yeah, that's actually probably a good point. It's probably people that, like you said, that just don't care, and a car to them is A to B, and that's a lot of people. Most people, actually, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I just got converted recently, so I can't really say much on that.
And who did that? This guy.
Yeah. No, it was all the car, man. You're the one who told me it was a good decision to get, though, so I got to give credit where credit's due.
Yes, thank you. That's one of my fortes. I've provided you and the last 3 immediate family members that have gotten cars with their car choices. So they all went with them. So I guess I got something right. Maybe I should go into large volume car sales or something. I don't know.
Oh, you're a good salesman, man. You got good people skills. You're good at finding out what people want and telling them what they need, right?
Yeah, offer the stuff that matters to them. That's the thing I tried to approach with you and your car. I was like, there's some options here, but do you really want this?
Nah, not really. I don't need anything that needs a whole ass. I just want something that looks kind of cool and has this kind of classy vibe to it.
Yeah, and for me, my next model will definitely be a hauler-asser.
A hauler-asser? You talking about horsepower?
Yeah.
A lot of ponies under the hood?
Yep, absolutely. I'm starting to save up already, get a nice down payment going. I'm excited.
Did you see that one of our buddies bought a Jeep?
Yes, I did. Very nice looking Jeep. Not a silver one, but black on black like I like it.
Yeah, man. I don't think he sent me he might have sent me a picture, but it was real quick and it was just to the outside.
Yeah.
But
whenever I head back and visit all of you guys, I'm going to make a stop for your car specifically. We'll make a stop for his car specifically. And then I'll make a stop just for you and him as people. But the first 2 are most important.
Get the cars out of the way first, man.
Yeah.
It's like swing by, I'll leave a spare key around, and I'll just head out, and you can play with it.
Yeah. But no, I didn't see that.
I gotta talk to him though, because when I went out, so for I guess some background. Before I started work in May, I went out to out west to like the Grand Tetons and Yellowstone, and made it out to Spokane, Washington, and drove my car out there. And I just saw how awesome truly the West is, and all the capabilities for going off-roading and outdoorsmanship and all that. And I was driving in my car. I have a Mercedes-Benz C300. It isn't the best off-roading car, I would say. I don't think it's made for that. So I'm glad that Brandon has one, because I want to slowly and surely convince him that we need to take a trip out there, out west, and abuse and use that Jeep to its greatest abilities.
Yeah, and I'm right off I-90, so pick me up on the way, put me in the back, and I'll go with you.
We can go bear spotting from out back there. We could do elk hunting or something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, take the top down, and then you got your own canopy there. You can sort of stand up.
Yeah. My one of my uncles, he hunts groundhogs out of the back of his Jeep. He's got a chair, like in the back portion where it lifts off, and it's like a telescoping one, and he'll just get his 22 and he'll drive. Farmers know who he is, because farmers hate groundhogs because they dig holes in fields and whatnot and cause problem for machinery.
Yeah, a lot of
so he just goes around. Yeah. So he just go around and he'll just pick off groundhogs out of the back of his yellow Jeep.
That's crazy. You gotta love that. That's just like such a, I don't know, it's just such a move. Like, you got your chair in the back of your Jeep. Like, there's just, thought put into it, care. I like it.
Yeah, he's an older guy. He's my great uncle, so he is probably 74 maybe or something like that. But he lives, in like, they don't make barns anymore. They make those buildings out of sheet metal and whatnot, right?
Yeah, like yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so he has one of those. So it's a big garage, and he has a bunch of his toys in there. And then he just has he's a single guy. He just has a little house built on the side of it, and it's 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room, and that's all it is. So it's about the size of my apartment. And he just dedicated all his space pretty much to all his toys. So he's got 4-wheelers, and they go out there and they'll drive out, I think, or up in the upper parts of the Midwest, like Minnesota and that, and they'll haul all their ATVs and everything and go out there and have guys weekends, and they're in their 70s doing that yet, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I see people going straight by on I-90 all the time, where it's just, you got your toys and you're going north for the summer. So I definitely get that.
Yeah, it's a wilderness playground out there, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to start calling it the Gateway to the West, because that's totally what it is.
Yeah. The Boundary Waters is up there in Minnesota. I want to go up there sometime. Maybe that's where I'll convince Brandon to take his car up to.
Now, is that the one that it's sort of like the little bump that goes north into Canada from Minnesota, and you have the lakes up there?
Yeah, it's all these littoral lakes, and you go up there on the U.S. side. I don't think you actually get into Canada. You might be able to boat into Canada if you have your passport, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just a chain of these lakes and these little marshes. It reminds me of if you ever read The Hatchet, what The Hatchet would be in a place.
Yeah, just really lakes, forests, wilderness, Canada type stuff, all that good stuff. Yeah, Canada light on the U.S. side. Yeah,
seeing moosing out in the wild and maybe some grizzly bears and doing fishing and just chilling and bumming it and doing the tent camping thing. No cell signals up there. That's the life. Ooh, you can also see the Aurora Borealis from there.
Oh, that would be something. That's something I've tried to see and have never actually gotten to. Every time I've tried, it's not been good weather conditions. So that's something that I would really enjoy and sort of make an effort for, I feel like.
Well, fortunately, we have jobs now, which is another segue. So we get paid, and we can actually go up there next year or something like that, plan a trip like that. I would like it just to plan the trip. I mean, you'd have to go.
Yeah, honestly, just the planning part could be a ton of fun in and of itself. Like, oh, where are we going? Oh, here. Oh, how are we doing that? Yeah, and I find a lot of fun in that too.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
It's sort of like winning the lottery, which you never do, but when you get your ticket, you always dream about it when the lottery's at like $1 billion, and you just think, well, what if? There's something to that.
Yeah, and you can like figure out. It doesn't have to be planning it to the point where it's go 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 all the time, but hey, we should be here at this time. We can enjoy this. You're trying to maximize your fun, break it down like an efficient way.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
That sounds like your type of MO. All that sort of technical breakdown.
Yeah, man, I'm a nerd. What can I say?
There you go. But yeah. Yeah, we have graduated and we have made it. We are no longer siphoning money.
Isn't that nice, man? I don't know about you, but that financial freedom is a good feeling.
It is. I would absolutely agree with that. There's something different. It's like a weight off your shoulders, which is really cliche. But it's just the knowledge that, I'm making money right now and I'm not stagnating, and every purchase I make is not drawing from a finite pool. It's actually starting to get filled up again. Some rivers and streams flowing in now. We got a waterfall over on the other side. It's different. Yeah. It's such a different feeling, but I can get used to it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's like when someone's helping you with any kind of money, and very grateful for it, of course, but there is this level of guilt of, should I spend my money on this? If they're helping me with this one aspect, if I didn't spend money on this, I could help more with that aspect, but I want to have fun yet. But now you don't have to think like that. Now it's, here's my money. This is my money, and I can do whatever I choose with it.
Yep. And then if you're like me and I'm a total personal finance nerd, you can break that money down into, okay, here's my money for fun. Here's my responsible money for saving. Here's this money for these needs. And then when you have that pool of money that is just for fun and for going out and doing things, eating food, getting gifts, going to places and events, that's nice. It's just totally freeing to know, okay, this is set and I've got it, so why not use it? And right now it's not a ton, but it's more than the none that was coming in while I was in college. So that's definitely improving.
Oh, yeah. That financial planning's fun, too. I got a spreadsheet full of that. But for some reason, I found myself at the strip club 12 times already this month.
Yeah. That'll do it to you.
Not really, but I don't make that kind of money. What am I talking about?
It depends on, at least from what you were saying about your Vegas adventures. It depends on how loose your brain gets with the alcohol.
Yeah. It's a good time. It's not, I think everyone should do it because it's a part of the world that exists and a reality that happens. It's not the happiest reality that there is out there, but it's there, and it's fun, but at a certain point I feel like it would be sad, and I never want to see that point, so I'm probably gonna stay away from here on out. But.
See, I just avoid that by not getting to it at all. Then I'll never see it sad.
True.
Different mindset. That's okay.
But they are cool, man. They are cool. For reasons that should be obvious.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Well, naked women, man. I mean, what can you say?
You can say that.
Exactly. That's what it is.
So, okay. Now I know what you're spending all of your new non-broke college money
on. That was a joke. I'm paying bills. It's so lame. It's so boring. It's like going out a little bit more, buying podcast equipment, and slowly and surely bringing my apartment from bare and depressed to looking like someone with their shit together lives here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that part. I'm going to have a little bit of time to think, though. I'm in a short-term sublease right now. But in actually a month's time today, I'll be in a house, actually, that I just signed a lease for. So that's going to be exciting to sort of make it my own and actually have the time on the weekends, the ability to sort of not have to worry about studying and walk into class and all that. And once I'm off work, I can really focus on making my house my own. Something that I've never really been able to sort of dedicate time to before. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
Right, and having a house. So is it just going to be you?
It'll be me, and then there are two other guys that I know. We're going to be rooming in a four-bedroom house.
Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty... It's big enough so that if you want to be away from someone, you can be away from someone.
Yep, we got, and they're
good.
Both great people, so we've got a lot of space. We have a yard. We're 2 houses away from the South Lake, so that's exciting.
Oh, Damn, yeah, that's good property, man.
Right on it. So it's actually basically where I'm at right downtown right now. It's the only other neighborhood that's in the downtown area. So I'm excited.
Sweet. You gonna put some art on the wall?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at some right now. I got some artwork over in Barcelona that I didn't want to put up in a sublease because then I just have to take it down, and then you're worried about ruining it if you take it down wrong and all that stuff. But I have some nice eclectic art that I'm ready to put on the walls. You know, if anyone ever comes back to my place, I'll be like, observe this modern fineness. Sparse,
I got it, yeah.
But cool.
Eclectic. What did you mean by that?
Well, it's like hand-painted artwork. It's sort of minimalist in style. It's not like an old-timey piece of art where you... Like my grandma, they have artwork that's really old-timey. It looks like, Revolutionary time paintings. And their house matches that. Their house is a colonial style, so it's really old and wooded. And they have a lot of furniture that matches their artwork. So what I'm looking to do is sort of have minimalist walls with this hand-painted art, and then not have a ton of furniture and keep to that minimalist theme and sort of just have a nice aesthetic about it. So when I say like eclectic art, one of them is a really beautiful hand-painted drawing of one of the boroughs of Barcelona, and then, for example, another one is this long sort of poster-like piece of art, also hand-painted, but instead of being this beautiful scene, it's a shadowscape of the Barcelona skyline, and there are giant robots fighting on top of it. So just it's artwork. Yeah, it's like
that's cool.
It's eclectic. It's artwork that's cool, but there's just something a little different about each piece, where it's like that formulaic, oh, you have giant robots fighting. That's unexpected, but just cool enough and out there enough to make it work.
Damn, man, are you an interior decorator? I have you come by my place and figure out what kind of wall I should hang on my art. My house was built in the 1940s. Maybe I should put like some pictures of some P-52 Mustangs on the wall or something.
Although then people might think that you're 12, but who knows?
Damn, that hurts, man. No, I did. Speaking of though, I actually found some art. It's old aircraft, and it's in like black scale, not gray scale, but everything's different shades of black and maybe gray.
Yeah.
And it has like P-52 Mustangs and the what are the B-42 bombers? The big the fortress, the flying fortresses.
B-52s.
B-52s. Okay, yeah. So I was looking at actually getting some art, and then you look at the price of art, and that discourages you a little bit.
It does.
So maybe I'll ask for it for Christmas, because luckily my parents still buy presents for Christmas.
Yeah, that's always a nice thing.
Yeah.
I got my mom a Christmas gift. Hopefully she doesn't listen to this and hear it, so I won't say it, but I'll send you a picture after this. It's totally perfect. It's her to a T. I love it.
Nice. That's kind of cool. We have that opportunity now with money to be able to buy people stuff.
Yeah, give back to people without worrying, oh, is this going to need to end up going into my semester fund?
Right.
Or will I need to pay for a tuition with this? Or like, I don't know, the last semester that I was in college, they tried to put an extra charge on that I took a week or two fighting because it was just crap. But, for a time I was worried, like, am I going to have to spend an extra $1,000 I wasn't expecting? Now it's just, you can buy this for someone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's nice. It's also, now you have to remember Mother's Day and your mom's birthday and all that kind of stuff to remember to send roses too. Be able to do that side of things now.
Yeah, actually keep up with the gifts and make sure everything's timely.
Yeah.
That'll be a bit challenging for me. I'm not going to do the overseas shipping. I'll just collect everything and then take it all at once for Christmas. So, like, I actually did Mother's Day, Father's Day, and my dad's birthday at the middle of May when I went over to visit them. And we sort of just rolled it all into one. So I think I'm going to carry that forward.
Okay. How long... Because your parents are in Germany right now.
Correct.
How much longer are they in Germany? And do you want to give some backstory on like what they're doing over there if you want to share that information?
Yeah, absolutely. So, me personally, I've lived in Germany for 3 to 4 years. It was around the middle school time. So I came back for high school to the US, then went to college. And then in college, my parents and brother ended up moving back to Germany. It's for my dad's job. And they're going to be there at minimum 14 months from right now. But they also have a possible extension. So it could be 26 months. So if they want to take the extra year option, then the contract that my dad has could last either till next summer or 2 summers from now. And shout out and plug, they live in the beautiful state of Baden-Württemberg in the southwest. Wonderful city of Stuttgart.
Baden-Württemberg sounds like something. It sounds like a German person coughing. Oh my god.
Nah, it's the sunniest state in Germany, so I like it when I visit them because it's not your typical German overcast. And it's right next to Switzerland and France, so you get to explore a little bit. Pretty easy.
Oh, sweet.
That's like a hour south to Switzerland, hour west. You're in France. Can't complain with that.
So, how close would that to be, like, to Lake Geneva?
Lake Geneva is probably 3 hours away. We actually drove by there a couple months ago. It took about 3 hours.
Whoa, that's so cool to me because you read about these places and you hear about these places and they're so historical.
Yeah.
And it's 3 hours away. 3 hours away from Cincinnati is
Cleveland.
Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, Cleveland. You could get kind of far into Indiana, maybe to Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, you can get to Indianapolis in an hour and a half from Cincy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome, and there's the Autobahn. It's always exciting. So then you can make it really short if you want to go fast. Don't have to take long at all getting places.
Oh yeah, so when you say 3 hours, is that like 180 miles, or is it further distance from that? That just feels that is shortened by the Autobahn.
It's further distance, but it's shortened by the Autobahn. But then when you get into Switzerland, the Swiss are notorious, like, worldwide for being really anti-fast car. So the speed limits are really, really slow relatively. You can only go 120 kilometers an hour at the fastest, which is around 60, 70, 65. But the speed cameras they have there just are ruthless. And if you're a couple miles an hour over, a couple kilometers an hour over, you get busted. So everyone drives pretty slow there. But it's only like 350 miles to Lake Geneva. It's not too far.
Man, do they do anything exciting? They don't fight in wars. They don't like fast cars.
They make money and they keep all that money. And
yeah, okay, so they're smart.
Yep.
They're smart is what it sounds like, yeah.
Yep, all the Swiss banks, those are there for a reason.
But yeah, speaking of Switzerland, so you were in Europe recently. Why exactly were you there?
I was there in May, like I said. I was there post-graduation, so it was, like we mentioned, my family living over there for graduation this past May. They all came over and wonderfully decided to drop by for the graduation ceremony at Cincinnati, and I followed them back. Spent a couple of weeks over there with them, sort of exploring, just enjoying time together as a family.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's an awesome opportunity. Holy shit. To do, especially after graduation, seeing your family for a while. But man, talking about college, let's dive into that a little bit and kind of talk about what that was like.
Let us do it.
So I don't know about. So for a little background, me and Grant, Grant and I went to the university. We both went to the University of Cincinnati, majored in biomedical engineering, graduated in 2019, and we've been friends since freshman year.
Yeah, I'd say freshman year we were in that same class together that we had on Mondays and Fridays, that group class.
Oh yeah, the learning
community,
right?
Is what it's called. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, so we were in the same one of those, which meant we had most classes together actually.
Yeah, we did, because you're in my calc class.
Yep.
Yeah, because we would get center court breakfast before chem.
Yes,
remember?
we would. I remember that.
Yeah. get that
10
real
10 chem with Sprague.
10-10 chem, yeah. And
Oh,
right
man.
before we would always do those 4 questions that were asked, but the pre-lecture questions.
Yes, like right before in the cafeteria. Yeah, that was the life. That feels like a while ago. That's been 5 years now.
Dude, so much growth in those 5 years. It's crazy, man. How much people said before you graduated, like, yo, college is a big learning experience. And I kind of doubted it, but then you really go through this transformation over 5 years.
Well, it's such a thing. Like, I know you and I, we both moved far away, relatively, from our parents for college. It's not like we went to college where we grew up and, you're on your own and you're actually independent and making your own decisions for better or worse for the first time. And I feel like the second that it hit in the freshman year of college, before classes even started, like, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to go and explore, or am I going to go and stay and make friends at the dorm I'm at? I mean, even from that moment, like, you start to make decisions by yourself, and they might end up good or bad, but they're your decisions and they drive your growth as a person. It's interesting. I never really thought that, but looking back on it, it really started then. And I'm definitely not the same person I was when I started college. And I think it's for the better, but it's fascinating to see how much personal growth there is. It's all of the decisions, big and small, you make, taking responsibility. It took me a bad semester in one of my classes to realize, wait, I got to actually apply myself. And no one's going to sit here and say, oh, do your homework. It's just, do you want it and are you going to do it? And I think that's the biggest takeaway, just sort of personal growth related, that I had from college, was that if you want something done, you've got to do it. No one's going to sit there and do it for you or keep reminding you. And be it academic, or if you want to make an effort to go out and visit friends, or if you want to explore the area around you, or make a trip, or go get a co-op or internship or a job after college, you've got to do it yourself. And I'm really starting to appreciate that. I'm transitioning into the real world, this mindset of, well, I've got to do it and no one else is going to do it for me. However it is in life, going out to a new city, just walking around Madison, making friends, that takes effort. Going and applying myself at my job, that takes effort. And it's rewarding and worth it. And, my extroverted personality type loves it, of course, but it's got to be me. And that is, I think, the biggest thing I took away from college, sort of growing. It's fascinating how it's like not really the academics, which are important, of course, but it's learning to learn and apply yourself. What would you think about that? What's your take?
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. My thing was always a little different. I've always been a super highly motivated person, so I've always been like, I need to get this shit done. So that wasn't really the big thing for me. My thing was, I'm from a town of 7,000 people. I graduated with a high school class of 51 people. I then go to the University of Cincinnati, which Cincinnati has a population of like 300,000 or something like that. UC has a population total of all the campuses, 42,000. My engineering has like 1,000 students, and my class has 60, just one major has 69 people. And I've always been real introverted. Yeah, dude, nice. I've always been really introverted, and I didn't really have the greatest high school experience ever. And initially, when I came into college, I went through a really bad heartbreak. So what college was for me was really this healing process and figuring out who I was as a person. Because I've always been, I won't say different, but different than the people I grew up with. You have 51 people to choose from in your class that's close to your age. And then you have people around that age, but reputations and reputations supersede who you actually are as a person in a town that small. And since I was different and I spoke my mind out against certain things, went to a Catholic school, I didn't always agree with what was going on in religion class, and I would always say that, I kind of felt like I got misjudged a lot in high school. So college was this opportunity for me to go and actually show people who I was without all the judgment that was placed on me from people who didn't actually know who I was. So it wasn't really the academic side of things and the professionalism, all that. Luckily my dad taught me a lot of that and how to do that very well. And I've always been not more mature than everyone, but more mature in those professional aspects and getting stuff done type of deal. My thing was finding out who I was as a person emotionally.
Got it.
And that was my whole focus. But yeah, no, I agree with a lot of what you were saying, but I think that's the difference between our two struggles. I had to find out how to make new friends, and I'm introverted, so I have to put myself out there, and I had to find avenues for myself to get myself out of this deep depression that I was in, and discover who I was and learn how to be proud of who I am as a social being that I didn't get that experience in high school. And going to college, knowing you, knowing Ed, knowing the guys in Kappa Sigma, a started fraternity at the University of Cincinnati, a chapter of it, that gave me the confidence to be who I was as a person. So that's where my struggle was. Yeah, there's the academic side and all that, but my main focus was on finding who I was.
Yeah, and it's been fascinating just as your friend these past 5 years to watch that, like, actually see it happen and see the confidence. And I've loved that as well, just in, like, not just with you, but other friends as well, because I think what we're both saying sort of hits at a common theme that everyone has a different thing that they need to sort out about themselves. Everyone always does. I mean, even right now, there's stuff that we can all improve on as people. But for some of the big things, moving to college, I feel like affects everyone in a different way. But it's all the same common theme of you're coming from this spot, you're on your own now. How do you grow? When those 4 or 5 years, however long your degree program is, are done, how are you different than when you started for the better? And I feel like we're both talking about ways that we individually are. And that's, I think, the beauty of it, that it's not the same journey for everyone, but we're all in it together.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the bottom line of it is kind of what you're saying. It's college is an environment that forces you to learn that at an accelerated rate, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And I love that. And that's, everyone thinks they need to go to college and they debate what the college experience is. Is the college experience sleeping with as many girls as possible, doing as many drugs as you can, getting as drunk as you can? I don't personally think so. I think it's that growth phase. I think everyone needs to go through that. Unfortunately, not everyone is meant for college, but I think everyone still needs that life experience that college provides.
Yeah, and whether you get it at college or somewhere else, I agree with that. I think that college is a great conduit for a deeper thing that needs to happen, and it just depends on where you're at in life. I feel like college is a great avenue for that, but a lot of my good friends from my hometown, none of them really felt like they needed to go, and they're all doing great, and they're all in their own careers, excelling and growing as people. It's just a different path, but I feel like college is probably the best you could get to simulate that environment needed to force yourself to grow. I think that's what you're getting at, and I would agree with that.
Yeah. No, definitely wasn't saying like the people who don't and stay in their small towns or in their area that they grew up in. There's no shame in that. It's just a perspective that I've never really had.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I agree.
Yeah. No, but it's always cool to do that kind of stuff.
And it was cool to be a Bearcat. UC, let's go.
Oh, yeah, baby. Cats by 90.
Cats by 90. I've introduced myself in a couple of team meetings, and I try to do like the UC thing just with one hand. You know how you go UC with your arms? I'm doing that just with one hand, and it's gotten a laugh out of people, so I'm going to keep doing that.
Are they laughing at you or are they laughing with you?
Well, they're laughing at and with, but I'm doing something ridiculous. Just imagine taking your hand up and making a nice U, sort of just with one hand with your thumb and fingers, and then just switching it real quick to its side to make a C. Yeah. It's a good chuckle out of people. Like, yeah, I'm from the University of Cincinnati, UC.
Oh, shit, man. But, we talked about kind of the growth phase, but there is still the fun phase
Yes, there is.
of college.
Yes,
Let's talk
there
about
is.
that, man.
Oh,
Like
yes.
let's get it back on the lighter side of things,
Yeah, I'm all for it. You start this one off. You go for it.
Oh yeah, so I've been drinking for quite a while now. I'm a really cool guy. I don't know. I had a lot of my drinking out of the way in high school before I really got into college. So I kind of like wasn't a big deal for me, but the awesome thing about college is there's so many people and that you can just find your people within these massive parties.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I mean, some of my best memories are just from going out on the town and with the group of friends or roommates, and you just go and have fun. You just explore, find places, find groups, find parties, find events, and live it up, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, like the really cool thing for me was, coming from that small town and everything, you're at these big parties and all of a sudden you meet someone that you click with and it's like, whoa, this is really cool. Like,
yeah,
you're a cool person. We should get drunk together again. Like, and having all these different opportunities to meet all these different people in all these different places is really cool. And another thing that's awesome about how big a college campus is and how many different people you get to meet when you hang out with one group of friends and those group of friends hang out with another of your group of friends and then they like each other and then your group of friends become like one big unit. They form together.
Yeah,
I feel like that happened with you and Ed.
I was
right?
just about to say that's like how I got to know Ed, and he's a great friend now. So it just happens that way. Not like what you're saying about how there's just opportunity for that, and it's true. It's if you have an open mindset to just meet new people, then it's just limitless possibilities, and it's a ton of fun. A lot of times, there are so many people that I met in college where we hung out for one night or whatnot, and then it's like, oh yeah, let's do this again, and then we just never did. But that's okay, because there are a lot of times where I made lifelong friends out of it.
Yeah, college also gives you the opportunity to meet people in situations that growing up in one geographical area you all tend to seem to have similar enough life experiences because you're from this area, you're from the same geopolitical sphere, you're in the same area with a similar financial background, and then you get to go meet people who have had differing backgrounds from yourself. And going back to our friend Ed, he's from El Salvador. You get to meet people from different cultures and expand your worldview, which is such a cool idea. And that's what I was like, I really wanted to learn about other people and just learn about what happens in the world in my small town. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to get out of it. And college presents you with this great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having lived in another country, it's just something that expanding your worldview, you can't really explain the impact it has in a concise way. Well, I'm sure people can, but I cannot. But it is a very impactful thing to be able to look at what's out there, what's different. Not everything is the same as what you're around all the time. And just recognizing that there are different circumstances and different types of people all over the place. And even, maybe they're next to you like Eduardo is at Cincinnati, but just recognizing and sort of just understanding and coming to see that there's just difference. I think that's something that's invaluable because it could sort of start to expand your own horizons, which sounds kind of corny, I know, but I think there's really truth to that. Yeah, there really is truth to that. Just getting a new perspective and understanding that where you're at is not all that there is out there.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, I would summarize it as this. It challenges your perspective on reality, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who they believe what they believe and then they don't want to change their beliefs because humans are stubborn assholes, and once we find something we like, we don't want to deviate from it. We don't want to hear what's different.
And we're creatures of habit as well. I think habits make us comfortable just by nature, so it's like an exercise to challenge that, but I think it's one that pays off.
Yeah, and you grow from it, and I don't see many negatives from it, is what I'm saying. There's maybe if you have no fear and you're talking to any person, you might run into some bad cookies, but I mean, the likelihood of that happening is so low. Meeting people from different backgrounds and perspectives can only be beneficial to yourself, I think.
Yeah. 100% agree.
Also, bars.
Yes. Bars. What about them?
Bars are fun.
I was wondering if you're going anywhere deep or profound with that.
No, man. I mean, yeah, bars are fun. Like, again, something different from. Since we're talking about college, that's what college was for me, is finding these differences between the small town and the big city.
The differences in bars.
Yeah, well, this part of it is the bars. Delphus, we have the best bar scene in the world. We got the Rustic and another bar.
Oh, that's somewhere. Beautiful. I love all the two options there.
All the two options. There's also clubs you can get into, but those are...
Oh, for high rollers only?
No, it's like the Knights of Columbus and whatnot. So there's just exclusive friend groups that hang out with each other and whatnot.
I thought you meant clubs like your downtown club scene or something.
Yeah. Everyone takes off their overalls after working in the fields and they go to the club at night.
Yeah.
That's the Delphus scene right there.
There you go.
No, but like just the wide variety in live music and whatnot. In Cincinnati, you get to come down and you get to listen to live music that isn't country.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool to have those different options and all these different scenes. And with a small, not Delphus particularly, but in these smaller towns, people from smaller towns will know this. You see the same people when you go to the bars week in, week out. But in Cincinnati, you can go to the same bar week in, week out and see a completely different group of people. Or if you start seeing the same people, there's unlimited bars to go choose from.
Yeah. I think that there's something really cool about not knowing what to expect and just variety in life. Variety in going and out each night, finding somewhere new. And then if you go to somewhere that you really enjoy multiple times, it's never going to be the same experience.
No, yeah, exactly. I feel like at some point, though, there's an age that you hit where you're just like, all right, I'm done. I'm done learning new things. I'm done going out to bars and meeting new people. I'm satisfied with my life, and we're just rolling from here now.
I don't know if I'm there yet. Maybe if I stayed in Cincinnati, I'd probably be towards that. But moving up to Madison, there's a whole new world out here now that I get to explore. So I know what you're saying, but I think I'm a little ways from that. Would you say that that's sort of where you're at personally?
Yeah, I got a lot of growth, I think. I'm obsessive compulsive. I have OCD, so like my thing is I always want to grow and be better and move on to the next thing, but sometimes I get exhausted of doing that, and I'm kind of in one of those phases right now where I'm not really in the mindset where I need to go meet new people, I need to go do all this. I kind of just want to build up my routine, figure this whole work thing out, start dating and do that whole thing and kind of slow down, not drink as much, not go to as much parties and whatnot, and still have, new experiences, but not living that college lifestyle where it's just so volatile and up and down all the time.
Yeah, I get that. And that makes complete sense. It's a big transition period. I mean, someone was at a bar up here and asked me a month ago, like, hey, are you trying to find someone tonight? And I thought, I'm actually not. Because not even like friends beyond who I walked into the bar with, much less like women at that time, because it was sort of this thing where it's like, okay, I'm 2 weeks removed from starting a new job, I'm in a new state, a new city. It's like I need to get settled first and sort of get my mindset set back, relocated, reset. Okay, I'm in a new spot now. I'm transitioning from college. It's a big change. I got to start up my job and get a routine with that. And then once that happens, start to really tap into the network of people that I've met here so far and then branch out. And that happened a couple weeks later. It took about a month, but that's a given with any sort of big change in life, is you need a period to sort of adjust. I guess that's what part of what I'm getting at is you can't take things too fast all the time. I feel like you really have to pace yourself and set yourself up for long term, because where we're at now, it's not like the co-op's at we were a part of, which, bless up Cincinnati, shout out for the co-op
Yeah,
program. But I think that it's sort of starting to hit that, this is a big permanent change. It's not like the co-ops, which for me, mine were all in different states. So I went from Cincinnati. 3 months later, I went to Kentucky. Then I went back to Cincinnati 3 months later. Kentucky, Cincinnati, Indiana, Cincinnati, Indiana, Cincinnati, Indiana, Cincinnati. Just moving,
Indiana.
moving. Yes, Indiana. And it's going to take a bit for me to really have it settle in, but I think it took about a month for me to come to the terms that, okay, I'm not 1/3 of my way into my time in Wisconsin. Like, I've got time.
Right, yeah, there's that steadiness that you get in being graduated and having a full-time job to really just, like, I learned all this stuff and I know what I like now, and now it's time for me to apply that.
Yeah, and sort of settle in, I guess is the phrase I keep using, but it's, especially for me, like I've just mentioned all the places I had to move over a few years' time, it's a much different experience, and I'm really excited for it, because now, I'm a month and a half, getting close to 2 months into my time up here. The horizon, it hasn't gotten any closer. Like, I still have all of this chance to explore, meet people, and build relationships with the people I've already met, and it's exciting. I'm glad to be able to finally just take it slower, not rush constantly.
Yeah. Well, there's also that decrease in that volatility with school. Things go in peaks and valleys. Sometimes everything will be really low and you won't have anything going on, like syllabus week, or after you have exams or projects in every single class in a given week, then you have these lulls, and then all of a sudden, on the inverse of that, you have those weeks where you have 4 exams and you have a report due and all that, and you're trying to deal with all this shit emotionally and with what's going on with school. So you kind of have to sometimes sacrifice one or the other. You have to sacrifice food, you have to sacrifice sleep in order to get your shit done.
Yeah.
With having a professional career, you can kind of, to put it in an engineering sense, you just lessen that volatility. You dampen those amplitudes of how crazy your life is, those peaks and valleys.
Yeah, and you just sort of smooth it out. And I think that's good for long-term health, too, because you're young when you're in college. At least we are. There are people that aren't traditional college students, but most of the people we were around were, early 20s, late teens. And I feel like you have the energy to do that then, but it's something that you can't keep up forever. I really feel like you can't keep that volatility up forever and just be happy.
Yeah, as someone in their mid-20s, you'll get there, man. You'll get there.
Oh, okay. I'm almost the same age as you. My birthday's coming up here. You're not
I had to do it, man.
Okay.
It's a shtick. Come on.
Hey, 24's coming up. That's Jeff Gordon's number. He was my OG race car driver when I was young.
Yeah, man. People talking about their damn LeBron year, man. This is my Gordon year.
This is your Gordon year. Yep, that's gonna be for me. I'm in my LeBron year though still, so I got my prime.
Ooh, speaking of which, actually, there is a NASCAR party that I have to get to here soon. So what do you think about wrapping this up here shortly?
That sounds good to me.
Good shit.
What are you talking about right now?
Yeah, I was talking about right now.
Okay, I didn't know if you separated that from, like, if you were trying to separate that from the actual episode that you're gonna final cut, or if you're just actually talking to me, like, off that.
No, I was actually setting it up for because I think we're starting to get, I don't know if you want to keep the conversation going, but I'm starting to get to the point where my mind is getting really tired and I'm struggling to come up with good talking points.
I think we're at like 120. It took about 10 minutes with like the water and the laundry, maybe max. Well, probably 5 minutes, and then cut out like another 5 of dead space. I think we're at about an hour 10, and then with the sign off, it'll be like an hour 11 minutes. That's a good length.
Yeah, so what did I say? I said going on with that, I have a NASCAR party too, so what do you think about ending this here shortly?
And then, so I'll say, in it here
and
shortly,
say,
you'll cut that, and then I'll say my thing.
Well, I was thinking about keeping that. I actually have to get out here. What do you think about ending here shortly? It'd be like...
And then I'll pick up, right?
Yeah, you go, yeah. Yeah, I think we had a good conversation here, something like that, and just
Yeah.
kind of cap what we went over. Not don't summarize what we went over and repeat like all the points that we went over.
No,
But
I know
just,
what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, yeah, that sounds good. I think we had a good conversation. So, how's the coffee been this time?
ooh, okay.
Then we can
Yeah,
finish with that and then sign off.
hold on, I'm a bad liar, and I didn't actually drink the coffee. So let me come up with my lie here real quick.
Okay.
I got it. Never mind. I'm a really good liar.
Okay.
What can I say? I'm a sociopath. I've been lying to you for years.
Oh yeah, I know. You thought I didn't know, but I saw. Okay. All right. I'll pick it back up in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that sounds good. I think we had a good conversation here. I know throughout this whole thing we've both been drinking our drip coffee that we got saved from the office. So what do you make of yours? How's yours going along? I got some thoughts about mine, but I'm eager to hear what you say.
Yeah, our coffee, we import that from Brazil, and it's really good stuff. No, it's just regular drip coffee. It's gonna kick my ass later because I'm a little bit caffeine intolerant. So you got to sacrifice for the show though, and also I need that caffeine burst after my morning this morning. Woke up at 8:30 and cleaned my apartment, went on a bike ride, cleaned my car out, had a pretty productive day, so I'm dogging a little bit right now. So this drip coffee is just what I needed, but I'm hoping I don't regret it later.
Yeah, that's always fair. Yeah, for me, I had a couple ways I could go with it. They have cafes at my work that, for a little bit of a premium, you can pay for a really good cup of coffee. They also have the break room coffee in every break room. So I went with that at the bottom of the barrel. Starting out my first job full time, you got to start small at the bottom. So I took some break room coffee out, and I got to say it's not the best thing I've ever had. I would give it like a 3 out of 10, we'll say. And maybe if someone makes it right and doesn't put a lot of water in it and dilute it, it could be a 4 out of 10. But that's the problem with break room coffee, in my opinion, is that people make it differently. So you could have a decent cup, but most of the time, like the one that I've been drinking this episode, is not the best. It's just not the best quality, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I think that if I wanted to get some caffeine in me, I'd rather pay the premium instead of the free break room coffee. But I did it, and I drank all of it, and what can you say? That's A for effort right there.
Yeah, man, it's pushing on a 4. That's pretty good for drip coffee, I'd say.
I think that there's a bell curve with it. So I think there's not any. I feel like there. Okay, not any. I feel like there's very little truly bad coffee. Truly bad coffee comes from a drip coffee machine with low quality coffee to begin with, but they don't maintain the machine properly, and they let molds and sort of dust build up inside, and they never clean it properly. So I think you have a bell curve where not much is truly bad like that, but then you get a lot at like 3 out of 10 to the 7 out of 10 range. They're just okay. I think this is on the bottom of that. So when I say 3 to 4 out of 10, I really don't think it's good. So we'll see.
Noted, man. That's a intricate review. I like that.
Yeah. So if you had to rate your coffee, what would you rate your break room coffee? You aren't as coffee fanatical as I am, so I'm interested to see what you say.
Well, you give positive ratings. It affects me in a little bit different way, so I'll give it a negative rating. Like I give most coffee. Some of it actually ends up on the positive scale, but most of it makes me run right to the bathroom after about 15 minutes of my first sip. This one wasn't too bad. It depends on if there's a lot of stress at work, but since it's been on the weekend and I really don't have much going on, I'll give it a -2.
A -2? Okay.
-10 being the worst, -2 being on the higher end of how it affects me in the bathroom.
Sounds good. It's not -10. I'll take it. Well, it sounds like we both had a slightly below average coffee experience, but when you get free break room coffee, that's what you got to expect. I'm looking forward to, coordinating and getting some nicer coffee onto this show that we can really get into a nice review, dig down inside and get some subtleties and nuances, all the buzzwords.
Yeah, it has some hints, it has some tones of earthiness.
Some earthy undertones to it, stuff like that. Yeah, so
this one was probably crafted in a metal container by a hipster with a ponytail and a 3-day-old mustache.
There you go. Sounds perfect. Well, thank you all very much for listening. This has been episode 1 of Couple of Joe's podcast. You can find us at Couple, C-U-P-L-E, of Joe's on
Twitter
and Instagram. This is Grant for Justin in beautiful Cincinnati. I'm signing out from equally beautiful Madison, Wisconsin.
Special shout out to young Kartz for the music production in this episode. Thanks.